All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking past all that shiny hype to see exactly how generative AI is practically integrating into our daily engineering workflows. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with these flashy headlines about AI completely taking over software development, right? Well, today, we're going to ground those claims in actual reality.
So, does AI actually make developers faster? That is literally the million-dollar question. And we're answering it today by first mapping out the new AI-assisted pipeline, and then we're going to look at the hard empirical data to see what's really happening at the enterprise level. We've all probably heard some variation of this joke around the office. Why are you still here? I thought we got a Copilot subscription. It's funny, for sure. But as we're about to see, the reality of AI in software development is way more nuanced than just, replacing humans with algorithms.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First, the new developer workflow. Second, automating commits and PRs. Third, AI as the pre-reviewer. Fourth, the agentic Git pipeline. And finally, the real productivity impact. Basically, we're journeying logically from the micro-level tools shaping our commits all the way up to the macro-level research on actual productivity.
Section 1. The new developer workflow. Let's start our chronological journey at the very beginning of a code change just to define what this new AI pipeline actually looks like. The old manual way of doing things is rapidly evolving into a multi-layered AI-assisted process. So this new flow happens in 4 distinct steps. First up, the code and commit stage, using tools like AI commits. Second, the pull request stage, supplemented by Copilot. Third, automated review via AI Review Bot. And fourth, the human merge, driven by what we call an agentic philosophy. This step-by-step pipeline really illustrates how AI tools serve as filters and assistants at literally every single stage, while Git and human reviewers, that's us, remain the ultimate arbiters.
Moving on to Section 2, automating commits and PRs. Let's zoom in on the granular tools operating at those first 2 steps, focusing on how we capture the context of our code changes.
Because, let's face it, writing boilerplate documentation and commit messages drains a lot of cognitive energy. Enter the AI commit CLI. Instead of manually typing out standard messages, developers can use this tool to automatically generate formatted commit messages based entirely on their Git diffs. It's super flexible. It supports multiple AI providers like OpenAI, Grok, or even local models via Llama. It follows specific formats like conventional commits or Git emoji. Ultimately, it completely bypasses manual typing. You just stage your files, and the AI grabs the context and writes the message for you. It's a real game changer.
And the difference is just stark when we move to the PR stage. Think about your standard PR description, often brief, maybe a bit vague, right? Compare that to a Copilot Enterprise summary. It scans your entire pull request and instantly supplements it with this rich, human-readable context. It tells reviewers exactly what changed and exactly where they should focus. The idea here isn't to replace the human author. It's to supplement your PRs with a level of detail that, honestly, most of us just wouldn't have the time to type out manually.
Section 3, AI as the pre-reviewer. Once that PR is open and beautifully summarized, we hit our next major checkpoint in the software development lifecycle.
And we all know this is often the biggest bottleneck for teams, the code review. But before human eyes ever even touch the diff, tools like AI Review Bot act as a pre-human filter. It uses deep analysis from models like Gemini or Mistral to intelligently catch risks. It gives you inline suggestions directly on your code with a super handy one-click GitHub apply button, and it flags security vulnerabilities by severity. But get this, the absolute coolest feature here is project discovery. The bot actually reads your CI pipeline and config files to understand your existing linters and formatters. That means no more annoying duplicate feedback if you already run Prettier, for example. All right, Section 4, the agentic Git pipeline. So if AI is writing our commits, summarizing our PRs, and doing the first review, who's actually in charge here? How do we prevent this from just devolving into total chaos? Well, the philosophy championed by platforms like Aiden is called agentic engineering. Put simply, agentic engineering wraps a strict Git workflow around coding agents. The golden rule is this: agents write the code, Git and humans decide if it ships safely. This ensures every single story gets an isolated branch and an isolated pull request. It totally rejects the chaotic nature of what people are calling vibe coding, where AI changes just get indiscriminately mixed into your main branch. No way. So here is the crucial takeaway from all of this. Everything up to the merge button is safe to automate, but keep that click human. A green CI test and an AI review pass, those are just conventions. They're fantastic filters, absolutely, but they don't guarantee that the architecture is sound or that the code actually does what you intended. That final merge button is the absolute point of human accountability. Section 5, the real productivity impact. Now that we've mapped out the tools and the pipeline, let's zoom out to a macro level.
Does all this automation actually move the needle? Well, a massive recent study looked at exactly how these AI tools affect developer productivity and code quality in the real world. Let's look past the marketing fluff and see what researchers actually found when they measured performance at scale.
Get ready for this number. Researchers analyzed a staggering 218,354 professional enterprise developers. They evaluated roughly 880 million commits extracted over a 2-year period. So we're not talking about a tiny survey here. This is a massive data set tracking real-world engineering behavior. And what they found first was incredible shadow adoption. A whopping 64% of licensed users were already employing generative AI before they were officially granted corporate licenses. Basically, developers recognized how useful these tools were early on, and they just started integrating them into their workflows long before the enterprise officially said it was okay.
Now for the results. Using strict quasi-experimental methods, the data revealed that Gen A tools provide a measured productivity boost of approximately 4% in billable coding effort. Now, billable coding effort is just an objective measure of the intellectual effort it takes to actually deliver a code change. And here's the best part. This 4% boost was achieved without sacrificing overall code quality or maintainability. A true net positive.
But here is the expectation versus reality check that you really need to understand. Out of all those hundreds of thousands of developers, only 2,062 consistently committed Gen AI authored code without significantly tweaking it first. Think about that. The vast majority of developers are not just letting the AI write code and blindly hitting merge. The code provided by AI almost always requires human rework before it's actually ready for the repository. And this leads us to the most vital takeaway from the data. The moderate AI users actually emerged as the highest overall performers. The study totally proves that AI isn't just writing all our code flawlessly. Actually, scratch that. It's more like developers who maintain a moderate, balanced approach, blending AI assistance with their own deep human expertise, are the most successful. They use AI to eliminate the boring boilerplate, but they apply their own strict engineering judgment to the final product. So, what does this all mean for us? As the pipeline becomes increasingly automated, from your commits to your PR summaries to your pre-human code reviews, how will you balance AI assistance to become a high-performing, moderate developer? It's crystal clear that humans must remain firmly at the merge button, acting as the final arbiter of quality. But how will you adapt your daily workflow to harness that 4% productivity boost without letting the machines take the wheel completely? That's the real challenge for all of us as we engineer our way into the future. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope it gave you a clear, structured view into the real impact of AI in software development.